There is no greater burden than an angry one. And if we can't let go of our anger, it will destroy us. But the good news is that anger can be trained like any other behavior. You cannot avoid anger. You must go through it. If you try to suppress or ignore your anger, it will manifest itself in other ways. Marcus understood this very well. The first step to dealing with anger is to realize that you have control over it, not the other way around. When we feel anger, we also feel threatened, like our ego is under attack. This makes it difficult to think clearly and rationally, and it prevents us from dealing with the situation effectively. To deal with anger, we need to learn to defend our ego. We forget to appreciate the beauty around us, the people who love us, and the opportunities that we have. Marcus Aurelius wants us to remember that life is precious and that we should never take it for granted. He wants us to appreciate every moment of every day and to remember that even the smallest things can bring us joy. We need to stop thinking in terms of me versus them and start thinking in terms of us. When we feel anger, we should ask ourselves, what would a reasonable person do in this situation, rather than, what do I want? By doing this, we can start to see the situation from a different perspective, and we can start to find a solution that works for everyone involved. It's easy to blame external factors or other people for making us angry, but the reality is that only we have the power to choose how we react. This only makes the anger worse because it makes us feel helpless. Instead, we should focus on what we can control. This doesn't mean ignoring the problem or pretending that everything's fine. It means taking responsibility for our part of the problem and doing something to make things better. Marcus Aurelius had a great reminder for this. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Marcus understood this perfectly. That's why he wrote, "Today I escaped anger or irritation or some other such nonsense. Or at least I can put it this way. It's not easy, but it's worth it." As Marcus Aurelius said, the man who goes into the fight with the most complete armor will not be deterred by the fierceness of the attack. Let me ask you, what are your thoughts on Marcus Aurelius's advice on dealing with anger? Today I escaped from being upset by others for others. Notice that he says, I escaped rather than I was not affected by. Why? Because he realized that it's not things that upset us, but our interpretation of those things that upsets us. This is a crucial point to understand. We don't get upset by events or situations, but by our thoughts about those events or situations. As Marcus puts it, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the anger we feel is not even based on reality. It's based on our imagination or past experiences. Once we realize this, we can start to take control of our anger. That's why he said, when you rise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. But Marcus knew that even with all the privileges of being human, we still get angry. So what's the solution? He also said everything we do or say is an act of our will. Everything we do or say is an opportunity to practice virtue. In other words, every situation is an opportunity for us to choose how we respond. You just need to know how. And this is exactly how Marcus Aurelius dealt with his anger. He said that the obstacle is the path, and that couldn't be more true when it comes to dealing with anger. So here's how Marcus Aurelius dealt with his anger. Step 1. Realize that you have control over your anger. Step 2. Don't defend your ego. Our ego is the source of our anger, so it's important to be aware of it. Step 3. Focus on what you can control. When we're angry, it's easy to focus on what we can't control. By following these steps, we can learn to deal with our anger in a healthy and effective way. As we go through our days, we often take for granted the simple things that make life worth living. If you liked this video, subscribe to the channel. See you next time.